Welcome home and welcome back. This is up in Canada and this is what I'm calling the Canadian shower plunge. This is a Wim Hof method that I've been tasked to do in hopes that I will have 1 million views by the end of 2023. Yes, that's a big and long shot, but you just never know. People would just take a look at you and see you for not what you've been told, but who you truly are. That's another subject. But needless to say, this is number 5 of the Hoffman method. And I am going to need to stay in this for at least a minute and a half. Because every time you go in, or every day, it should be for 15 seconds, and then you graduate yourself each day to another 15 seconds. Now, after this plunge, I'll be taking a 2-day break before I start on the next segment and quarter of this 20-day challenge. So without delay, let's freeze our off. There is a breathing technique. Deep breaths in, out, and repeat it 30 times. And at the end of your 30th breath, you hold it for as long as you can, and then you release it. This will help take a lot of oxygen to the peripherals of your lungs and brain. Don't fall down. So this has been day 5, as I said. And I think to a small degree, there have been some benefits. I have been having better sleeps. I have had stronger oxygen and focus because when you're, well, especially up in Canada or any place where there's winter, if you're basically bound to your residence for long periods of time, unless you have really good circulation, even HEPA filters, which is a thing, which is a good thing, you could do this on a regular basis without suffering from too much dioxide. And if you live in a big place, well, there's always air circulating, that's a given. You have air vents, from your stove, from your bathroom, from your kitchen, and it's supposed to circulate all of the air into your residence. But there's one thing I learned a while back. When you live on a main drag, there was and is a lot of exhaust that comes out from these vehicles. Number 1, from Portage and Toronto to Broadway and Maine, is the Canada Trail, or Canada number 1. This route basically is a route for big semi-trucks. And there's no Tesla semis up in Canada that I've seen. So when you think about the amount of cars and transports that travel up and down your road on a daily basis, that's a lot of exhaust that's coming back into your residence. Sustainability is not about just getting rid of oil and gas. It's about being able to breathe cleaner air. You know, oil and gas has taken us very far in life. Our economies, our scales of technology, yes, it's done all of that. But if you really come down to basics, the idea behind reusable energy is energy that you're not sucking into your lungs, like dioxide and isotopes and all kinds of other weird named particles that come from diesel exhaust, gas exhaust, and even heavy equipment and so on and so forth. That's the quintessential reason for electric vehicles, is so that you will not be breathing in all those toxic fumes on a daily basis and eliminate a lot of the health issues that most of the world faces today. This is a brain freeze. Woo! Well, that's day 5 of the Wim Hof method. Those showers do not get any easier at all. They are cold. But I do believe there will be some benefits down the road. If you really think about it, and I'm going to bring this up in the next segment, you look at the mammals that survive winter year in and year out. They procreate, and for instance, up in Canada here, we have well, I guess it's the same in the States as well, in the colder, like the upper north states, that we have deer, and lots of deer. Just the other day, was traveling down from Rose Isle, and this is just at dawn or dusk, and you look out on the fields, the cornfields that have all been plowed down and cut and harvested, and I could not believe the herds. Like, we're talking multiple, you couldn't count them in one glance. But these herds of deer were enormous. So what is it that I want to discuss in the coming segments of this Wim Hof and discussion series is how mammals survive. How they have survived for millennia and then some. It's something to really take into consideration. We have, as human beings, closed ourselves out to our natural instincts. We want things now, and we want them yesterday. We house ourselves in toxic residence. And I say toxic residence because of the materials we use to build our houses. A few years ago, they were building some new developments out on Lagimodiere, out here in north of Winnipeg. And those multiplex complexes, 8 to 9 stories high, a dozen or so suites wide, and then probably double that in width. And it was the middle of winter. Somebody had left a Bunsen burner heat in the building, and it hadn't been completed yet. And it burnt down. They already had most of the stories up, but this place burnt up like a book of matches, like matchsticks. And I was shocked at the visual look of this building. Looked like it had just come out of a wax museum. That's how much plastic or oil byproducts are in our materials today, in our housing. Well, that's another subject. But for now, Wim Hof number 5 is complete. So, for Up in Canada, I'm Dominic Raphael, and this is the Canadian Shower Plunge. Cheers.